Finance-related questions. I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are no operators standing by. I am it.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And, of course, we celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. Just checking out the celebrations of the day. I saw this one. National Arkansas Day. Yeah, I ain't going there. National Milk Day.
I got a bad feeling about this.
And then I looked down the list, and obviously there is the serious one. I'm not going to get serious on this one, so I'm not going to go to the serious one of the day, especially after we've been joking around a little bit. But the one that I saw here, it was just for Brent. National Step in the Puddle and Splash Your Friends Day.
Yeah, there was quite a puddle this morning when I got out in the parking lot.
Yeah, you mentioned that, so I saw that. I go, holy cow, someone must have known that.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of holy cow, if it's National Milk Day, that would be an utter celebration, wouldn't it?
I think. I couldn't resist that.
I couldn't resist either.
There we go. Tomorrow, I think we're going to be doing a recorded broadcast tomorrow, so we might have to mention that it will be Kiss a Ginger Day. So just a thought right there. Anyway, we're going to move right along with the broadcast today, because otherwise we will get way, way out of control, and I might get in some serious trouble here. Checking the markets for you this morning. Saw the Dow Jones Industrial Average down a little bit yesterday. It is up today, 113 points. Oil up 94 cents per barrel. Ow! I'm not going to mention what Taxifornia is. I just saw finally the news is starting to catch up with the rest of the world. They're talking about the idea that gas prices will be going higher in Taxifornia. We like high taxes. We like high prices. Who gets hurt most by this? Obviously, they don't care. That's Jerry Brown doesn't care about the average working folk. You know, those of us that are driving fossil fuel cars. Just a thought right there. If you need to fill up, though, just a public service announcement. If you need to fill up your tank of gas, go to Missouri. $2.24.7 a gallon in Taxifornia, $3.17.1 a gallon, almost $1 a gallon difference. I'm looking, did you notice where Missouri is in the country if you're not familiar with the map? Take a look at where Missouri is. There are not a lot of ports there. The oil and gas is probably not coming into Missouri. Just a thought right there. Probably comes into California, gets refined here, sent there. And we pay $1 a gallon more because, we got to have our own blend. We've got to pay our own taxes. We've got to pay our own taxes. We've got to pay more taxes. Then after that, we get to pay more taxes. We just like taxes. Am I stuttering this morning?
I got a bad feeling about this.
Yeah, not going to be fun, but I digress. Maybe we should move on to the next subject because otherwise we might end up paying more taxes. Just a thought right there. We are looking also at the bond market. 10-year Treasury up 1 basis point. If you were listening to the broadcast yesterday morning, thank you very much. I appreciate you listening. But the Fannie Mae 30-year fixed rate loan, I told you yesterday, if you remember about this time yesterday, the bond was down about 20 basis points. Right now I'm looking at it, the bond is down 3 basis points. It recovered almost all of the losses yesterday. Remember I shared with you that China was not going to be backing out of buying U.S. bonds, that they didn't want to get in a trade war with the U.S.? Well, the bond market yesterday, the bond sale yesterday went very well, and thus we did not see a big drop or a carry through in that bond market. So, yeah, just a thought. I've shared that with you before. The market always overreacts. It's just the way the markets work. So anytime you're watching what the markets are doing, know that they always overreact. It's just part of the process, and live with it. You have to learn it, understand it. So we did see a down day in the market yesterday. Today we're looking at initial jobless claims. Measuring individuals filing unemployment benefits for the first time rose 11,000 to 261,000 for last week. 16,000 more than expected was the fourth consecutive week that claims have risen. Initial claims are now at their highest level in over 3 months. Producer Price Index, which measures wholesale inflation, dropped from 3.1% to 2.6% on a year-over-year basis in December. Core PPI, which strips out food and energy. I love how they do that one. They do an index and take out the things that people have to have. Figure that out, food and energy. Oh, well, we'll continue watching what these markets are doing. So just keep an eye right there. We are watching them for you. You don't need to watch all the markets. That's what we do for you. That's what your personal shopper does. That's if you're looking at buying a house. That's what the mortgage banker will be doing for you. Moving right along. I look at the headlines of the news, and I just go through some of the headlines here, and I know that we've got some folks that are watching that agree with me, some disagree with me. Most disagree with me. Democrats move toward an agreement that would allow DACA recipients to remain in the country. Some of their more liberal members are in outright revolt. Think about that. The party's left wing does not want anything to do with the three other pillars of a prospective deal: enhanced border security, an end to the visa lottery system, and a halt to chain migration. Think about some of these issues. So you talk about the border security, that would be the wall. Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Dianne Feinstein, they all voted for it. Under President Obama, of course, but now they're against it. So I wonder what changed overnight. Just a thought. Then we saw, did you try... Now, Brent, I'm looking, you've got a Starbucks coffee there this morning. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to ask you if you tried to go to 7-Eleven because it might have been closed. But did you see all the ICE agents running into 7-Eleven? 97 7-Elevens were raided by ICE agents to see if the people were working legally. Did you see that one?
I didn't see that.
Well, and the liberal media is up in arms about it. Now, they're going to have a big problem because ICE goes into 7-Eleven, raids the 7-Elevens with warrants that they've been working on for 4 years. Now, if you were to pull out a calendar, you might find that the Democrats are going crazy over this. President Trump is going after the illegal aliens on a project that's been going on for 4 years. So who would that have been started under? I wonder who the president was 3 or 4 years ago. I digress. I guess better be careful there. An awful lot can change in 8 years today. It is absolutely taboo for any Democrat to use the word illegal. Democrats love illegal when referring to illegal immigrants. But take a quick listen to Chuck Schumer in 2009 when he was a warrior against illegal aliens. What in the world happened, and when did Democrats decide that illegals are their most important constituency? Well, when they got the right to vote. It's pretty simple. They got a right to vote. They vote for the people that are going to give them the most goods and services for free. I guess that would be the Democrats. Trump administration also announced that states can force poor people receiving Medicaid to work or enroll in a training program. Some states have long wanted to impose work requirements, but the Obama administration fought that idea. There will surely be caterwauling and lawsuits from liberal groups that believe work requirements are inhumane. Really? You gotta love that idea. I mean, I've had Larry Broughton on, retired Army Ranger, and his theory is every individual in America should be required to serve for 2 years. And when he and I had this conversation, I love the concept. He never said they were required to serve in the military for 2 years, just required to serve. Think about that. Now, I don't know if you're religious or not religious. Most religions have some sort of a servant requirement. Community service of some sort. It doesn't matter whether you're doing work for the church, the temple, the community, picking up trash at a local park. And this is not an issue where we talk about people that are in need, where they can't do things. Now, I don't know of there's hardly anybody around that I know of that can't do something, right? I mean, it may be that you've got certain limitations, But you know something, maybe you can read a story to a senior citizen. Maybe you can pick up trash at a park. Maybe you can, whatever God's gift is to you. God gave everybody some sort of a gift. And I'm using a technical term. I'm not using a slang. But even those that are mentally retarded, and that is a technical term, there is a diagnosis for it. It is a specific IQ level, or below a specific IQ level, means somebody is clinically mentally retarded. They still have some sort of a gift that they've been given, and they can do some sort of service. And it's not an issue of not giving them the Medicaid or the Medicare or the welfare that they need to live. It's an issue of giving them also one more thing. It's called dignity, right? And if you're just taking handouts, most people that I believe, maybe it's just me, I believe most people want a hand up, they don't want a hand out. And if they need some help from the state, so be it. But you know something, I love this idea of what the president's coming up with is, number one, I'm a big believer that if you're getting Medicaid or Medicare or some sort of state subsidy, there's nothing wrong with a blood test or drug test. You know something, my son went to work, I think it's Dater Brothers, and he had to take a drug test. Right? So what's the problem with that? Is that something that's a big major issue? My personal opinion, you share yours. We've got it on Facebook. We've got the show broadcast right there on the live stream. All of our social media channels. Let me know what your thoughts are here. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, ways to reduce stress in a home sale. Talk to Brent Humpherys about that. FICO scores on approved home loans. Oh, I think I got the wrong report here, but I know that we're going to talk about some other stuff. I'll find the right report in just a second. You can reach me anytime off air, number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter at Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams, or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Did you know that banks and credit bureaus are rewarded financially if you have bad credit? And the worse your credit score is, the more money they can make off of you? How does that make you feel, knowing that banks are getting rich off of your hard-earned money? How does it make you feel, knowing that if a bank or a credit bureau makes a mistake on your credit report, they benefit from it and it hurts you? The Fair Credit Report Act of 1971 requires banks and credit bureaus to report only accurate information, and nearly 100% of all credit reports are inaccurate. If you're sick and tired of being broke and tired of being robbed by the banks, you owe it to yourself and to your family to call Rondi. Rondi is a FICO-certified credit professional and has helped thousands of people just like you get out of debt and establish great credit. Rondi's number is 855-608-1990. Again, that's 855-608-1990. Or visit creditsanitizer.com. Again, that website is creditsanitizer.com.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452.
Are you a veteran, police officer, firefighter, doctor, nurse, or teacher? If so, you qualify as one of Ron Siegel's VIP heroes, and we have rewards up to $5,000 or $10,000 when you buy, sell, or refinance a home with one of the Ron Siegel radio partners. As one of the heroes, real estate agents will rebate part of their commission. Lending partners will give a credit at closing. The title company has special published rates, and many other service providers have incentives too. All you need to do is call Ron Siegel Radio at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit VIPHeroProgram.com. Think about what you will do with all the rebates and incentives from the partners of Ron Siegel Radio. Just call us at 800-306-1990 so we can show you our appreciation for your service.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. You ready for this one? It is totally free. It's a gift from Ron Siegel Radio. I love this project that we did for you over the holidays. Text RF Toolkit to 79564. You're going to get it's a cool kit. It's the ultimate home finance toolkit. Several mortgage calculators are in the kit. A home affordability worksheet is in the kit. Direct access to interest rates, pricing, all in the toolkit. Text RF Toolkit to 79564. Get that right away. 93% believe homeownership is important in attaining the American dreams. Americans continue to believe that homeownership is important in achieving the American dream. A recent survey by NeighborWorks America reported that, I quote, owning a home remains a core element of the American dream, unquote. When asked how important a part of the American dream is owning a home, 18% of those surveyed said it was the most important part. 53% of those surveyed said it was very important. 22% of those surveyed said it was somewhat important. Home ownership and financial stability. The survey also revealed that 81% of Americans believe that owning a home leads to a family being more financially stable. This feeling was reiterated by Zillow's senior economist Aaron Terrazas, who in a recent press release explained, I quote again, after a 2-year slowdown, rent growth is starting to pick back up across the nation. Looking into 2018, rent is expected to continue gaining. More widespread rent growth could mean buying demand stay high as renters can afford it, move away from the unpredictability of rising rents toward the relative stability of monthly mortgage payment, unquote. Bottom line, owning a home has always been and always will be a crucial part of attaining the American dream. If you want some more information, give me a call, 800-306-1990. Put you in touch with a great real estate professional and we'll get you the free toolkit. Text RF Toolkit to 79564. Find your dream home before somebody else does. That's the thought process right there. Brent Humpherys is in the house. Happy New Year, buddy.
Happy New Year to you. I hear we can say that until the 31st.
Okay, well, what do we say after that? Bad New Year?
You got plans for Valentine's Day? I mean, I don't know.
Are you asking or what?
Well, no, that was figurative.
Okay. Just curious here, Brent. I was wondering where we were going with this one this morning.
You're funny.
Okay, so let's get on with this. Selling your home. So I think that buying a home, I know, is very, very nerve-wracking. Mm-hmm. What about selling? Is that just as nerve-wracking? Is it a little easier? What do you think?
Well, let's think about it. When you're buying a home, you're going into other people's homes. They're doing all the cleaning. They're getting ready and everything. But when you're selling a home, you're doing all the cleaning. You're doing all the work. And people are coming into your house.
Invading my space.
Invading your space. So it can be a very, very stressful thing. Money's very stressful for a lot of people, and many people sell for financial reasons. And so what happens if you're selling because you need to release some of the trapped equity in your home, or you've got to pay medical bills or something?
Relocating,
yeah, and saying goodbye to the friends and the family, and you've got a deadline, and maybe the buyers aren't coming and producing offers on the terms and in the time frames that you want. The first thing you need to do when you want to sell a home and you want to reduce stress is write down, journal your why. Why am I selling? There are many people that say, oh, well, I think the market's good, or I think the market's good, but I think the sky is going to be falling, right? They had that Chicken Little book growing up.
Sure.
Or it was a book, or I don't even remember. We all know about Chicken
You heard
Little.
those stories.
Yeah, they heard the stories, and they said, oh my gosh, it's time to sell. But if they don't actually follow through with writing down the why and holding themselves
That's
accountable.
in a lot of areas of life, though, right?
Oh,
Understanding the why.
Sure. And
Right?
it sounds so cliche. You know, I was thinking, could I come up with something that sounds less cliche, but I couldn't. The reality is your why will determine with great proportion how stressful the transaction will be. And let me tell you why that is. Another lack of a word. If you know that you are moving because you want to purchase a smaller home, and you document, I am selling my home because I want to reduce my monthly payment by, let's say, 17 or 20%, and I want to take the equity out of my home to purchase another property within a certain area, and I've spoken with a lender, and I know what my down payment needs to be to qualify, and you've done all that work, you're going to probably have a better experience. But if you just put your home on the market and think, well, the buyers will come, and then all of a sudden you get an amazing offer that just makes you giggle, and suddenly you're going to be homeless because you haven't done the second piece
You
yet.
did something that I want to back up a
Sure.
little bit there, Brent, because you did something very succinctly, but I think a lot of people miss it.
Okay.
So I want to go back here, and what I want to point out that Brent just did was,
What did I do?
We ask why 3 or 4 times. So I want to sell my house. Why? Because I want to get a smaller house. Well, why do you want to get a smaller house? I want to get a smaller house because I want to cut my payment down by 17%. Well, why do you want to cut your payment down by 17%? If you keep going further and further and asking the same word, reiterating the question further and further, why do you want that 17% payment reduction, Brent? Well, because I need to pay for college tuition,
Sure.
or I need, I'm getting a different job. Well, why are you getting a different job? When you say that why question over and over again, which you just did it because you're practiced at this, but many people that are not practiced at it haven't heard that before. When you ask why do you want that, you finally about 5 times when you say the 5th why, you really get to the real root of the reason.
Sure. Yeah.
Right? I didn't want to really sell my house. What I really do want is I want to be able to put my son in college.
Sure. Yep.
Right? So that's that now when you get that lowball offer, or you get the crazy request for repairs.
You have clear insight into the decision grid, whether to look at that offer as attractive or
Right, exactly.
unappealing. Correct, yeah.
Exactly.
And sometimes the why isn't financial. Sometimes it's changing family needs. Sometimes it's, grandma's living with us. Grandma blew out her hip or her knee. Can you blow out a hip? I'm not sure. And I'm not saying this with any disrespect for our senior citizens. All of a sudden, grandma needs a home or a bedroom downstairs. It's not working for her going up and down 2 flights of stairs. Therefore, when you put the home on the market, you need to know whether replacement inventory exists for grandma, where within your budget, within what you're pulling out of the home, equity-wise for a down payment with the forward underwritten approved lender like you, does the inventory exist? Because you may do very well on the exit of home A and crash and burn on B, and now you've made grandma homeless.
Exactly.
And you don't want to do that. These are the stress events that happen when you don't have a clear plan.
And I can just speak from my own personal situation. My dad had a situation where he couldn't walk stairs anymore. And, before he passed, my mom decided, well, we're going to put an elevator in. Right? Nice. She didn't want, so the why was, can't handle the stairs.
Mom really gave him a lift. Sorry, I couldn't help it.
I know somewhere I've got that right here. I'm going to have to keep that button handy with you today, buddy. Okay, so, but something, if you understand the reason, they didn't need a single-story house. What they needed is a way for Dad to get upstairs.
Correct.
Right? So it may help you with, do I want to sell or not want to sell? Right? And those are all valid issues right there. So understanding that's going to take off a lot of pressure, because now we say, do I want to move to a single-story house? Which is more important to me, moving to a single-story house for grandma in your scenario, or keeping or paying for an extra a new water heater because it was a stupid item on the request for repairs.
Sure.
But it's more important for me to take care of Grandma.
That's so important, and that's one of the reasons why writing things down and defining it and then documenting it is so important, because you've got, husbands and wives, they get this offer and they're starting to bicker or argue because one says, I want this offer, and the other one, will look at the criteria and say, but this doesn't get us to home B.
Right.
If there's not enough equity out of this, the lender said we're going to need 15% down on the replacement. This gets us at 12. So do you really want to do this, or do you want to wait until it fits?
And having that clear path makes life a whole lot easier. A lot of a lot of stress comes from ignorance. Mm-hmm. Right? I mean, if you don't know where you're going, how many times if you're on the freeway and you don't know, and the freeway's closed, right? Mm-hmm. And you have to take an alternative route. Now it becomes stressful. You might have been used to going down Highway 5, but now you have to take a side street, and it becomes stressful because you don't know where you're going anymore.
Yeah.
Same concept here. We got all the way to number 1 out of 7, Brent. We got to take a break. We're going to come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. Ways a high credit score will help you buy a house, and how does a line of credit work? All that and more. You can reach us anytime off air. Number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. Good morning, Linda, Kevin, Delcy, James, Tony, Scott, Samir, Mitchell, Christina, Dan, Larry. Glad to see you all with us. Have a great day. We'll be back in just a minute for you.
Siegel Lending Team offers you buying power. Let's say you can afford a monthly mortgage payment, including principal and interest, of around $1,900. With today's rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage of 3.75%, APR 3.85%, that payment could support a $416,000 mortgage. But if you wait and rates tick up to around 6.5%, which is roughly the average home mortgage rate over the past 30 years, that same $1,900 mortgage payment, including principal and interest, may only be able to support a $314,000 mortgage. That's over $100,000 worth of home you're missing out on by waiting. That's buying power. All you need to do to get started is reach out to the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Payment example excludes taxes and insurance. Call us for full details, 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 or SiegelLendingTeam.com. Equal housing lender, licensed under NMLS number 217037.
Are you purchasing or own a luxury home? If you're like so many others, your home is your largest asset and the mortgage is your largest debt. The Siegel Lending Team has some amazing financing opportunities right now. Jumbo loans up to $2 million, 30-year rates below 4%, 15-year rates near 3.5%, and if you can believe it, 7-year interest-only hybrids in low 3s. The Siegel Lending Team has all the options for your jumbo or second home loan requirements. Take advantage of them while you can. To learn more about all the other financing products available from the Siegel Lending Team, call 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Again, call 1-800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender.
Homeowners that are 62 and older are about to find out a great way to live a better retirement. It's called a reverse mortgage, and SLT can help you learn more. Call the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990 right now to receive your free booklet with no obligation. It answers questions like how a reverse mortgage works, how much you qualify for, the ways to receive your money, and more. When you call the experts at Siegel Lending Team today, you'll learn the benefits of a government-insured reverse mortgage, how it will eliminate your monthly mortgage payments, and give you tax-free cash from the equity in your home. Here's the best part. You still own your home. Now is the best time to take control of your retirement. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 to get your free brochure. Call today or visit our website at siegellendingteam.com. That's SIEGEL lendingteam.com, or simply call 800-306-1990.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Your Credit Matters segment today being brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. You have a credit report, it's wrong. They all are. That's how I know yours is as well. I've been looking at credit reports for decades now. And don't say one word, Brent Humpherys. I'm going to even mute your stuff because I can hear you thinking all the way over here. But looking at those credit reports, I mean, I've never seen one that's completely accurate. I've seen it. Highest score I've seen in my tenure is an 834. 850 is perfect, and every one of them has errors on them. So what are some of the benefits of a high credit score? Well, obviously when you're out buying a house, more loan programs are available the higher your credit score is. The more programs that are available, generally, again, it depends on what you're looking to accomplish, is going to mean that you're going to have a lower payment. You get a lower down payment, a lower monthly payment, lower mortgage interest rate with a higher your credit score. Many times you're going to find a smoother loan closing, and you might be able to combat future competition and interest rate increases. There's a lot of benefits to a high credit score. And in many instances, in fact, I'll say in most instances, when there are errors on credit, when credit scores are lower, a lot of it just simply has to do with errors on the report. So let's get the report corrected. Think about that concept. Give me a call, 800-306-1990. I'll help you with that. Go to creditsanitizer.com. You get a weekly email with different credit scoring tips and tricks. And if you're needing something done in the next 3 to 6 months, generally it's going to take a while to get credit scores corrected or reports corrected. I'll put you in touch with Alan Hayon or Jeff Sipes. Both of them do a great job for listeners of Ron Siegel Radio in getting their credit reports corrected. That is the Your Credit Matters segment, again, brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. So we are chatting this morning with Brent Humpherys. He's in the house today talking about ways to reduce stress in a home sale. We got all the way through item 1, halfway through the broadcast. Now, somehow, Brent, when you and I get together, we get off on tangents of some sort.
Yeah.
But
fun tangents, though.
Fun tangents, exactly. So I know that you're into writing today. I don't even write things down. I mean, I use this iPad thing if you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv.
That qualifies. You can type it, write it down. You don't have to journal in it. You could use Evernote or something.
Evernote, okay, got it. So,
but the second thing is write down your... Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, item number 2.
Write down your non-negotiables. Your wish list and your absolutely have to have list.
So the I want and I must have.
Right. And a lot of these have to do with why you're selling. So I think back a few years ago, the Van Dyken family, they had me sell their home in San Diego. We put it on in January. They had a brand new home being built that wasn't going to be done until June. Now, these are wonderful, lovely, flexible people. But they said, my gosh, Brent, we've got 4 kids. Wouldn't it be ideal if you could get us into escrow and either have a longer escrow or after we close that we could rent back so we don't have to move, only to move again a month or 2 later when our home's done. I've got them double-digit offers, and we had stacks. We had the, for consideration pile of offers, double-digit offers. And then we had the...
What's a double-digit offer?
I'm sorry.
Means it was a $50 offer?
No, more than 10 or more offers.
Oh, okay.
In other words, we had double-digit offers. I think it was like 17 or something.
Wow.
And this is,
That's been a great real estate agent.
Thank you. We had a great experience.
Okay.
And so we had the very appealing stack, we had the possible, and then we had the rejects, or not even counter them. And so once we got rid of the buyers who said, absolutely not, I need to move in 30 days, then we knew what we were working with. And fortunately, we were able to convince the buyer to get a non-owner occupied loan because of that 59-day rule. After the home closes, that buyer for owner occupied has to, I don't know what I'm doing with my hands, they have to move in within 59 days of close of escrow. So they got a non-owner occupied loan and rented back for like 5 months. So the Van Dykens, when they closed, they just moved down the street to their new home without having to move twice. Did that reduce stress?
So that would reduce stress, obviously, but the buyers then had to pay for a non-owner occupied loan.
They did.
It sounds to me, though, here's the issue that I love when we bring these things up, because what that's really saying is that in some place along the line, just the sales price was not the main issue.
Correct.
Right, so they bought the loan down, or they did something, or they could have paid more money for the property. The buyers could have paid more money for the property, but because of the agents knowing the whys for both parties,
correct,
they were able to bridge that gap.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got 15, or I think it was 17 offers, and I think it was around 759 that we sold the property for, right? And we were bidding. Some people would easily say, I'll go to 770 or 780 to get rid of the other 16, front runners and or to become the front runner. So why not pay a marginally higher interest rate to win that property? Now, I'm not advocating this for every deal, but in this transaction, this is what reduced stress for that family. And so we got it.
And that goes to the market that we're in right now, because that family, the buyers, they decided that was a property that was right for their family. So they were able to, because of the negotiation process, they were able to find out or somehow determine what's most important to the seller, and they could win that transaction, because obviously it must have been a tight market, otherwise you wouldn't have had double-digit offers, right? So you're in a tight market. How do you win? How do you get the property? Well, you solve the other side's needs. How do you solve the other side's needs is you got to know what they are.
Knowing their why, yeah.
Exactly. Okay, clear title. What's that all about?
There are a number of people in the country who have very common names. I had a client named Jennifer Foster. Her husband's a pastor, and she and her husband traveled.
I got a loan for John Smith.
John Smith. John Smith would clearly have this
Jose
problem.
Ramirez.
Yeah. And by the way, I got my client's approval to share this. So Jennifer and her husband travel all over.
I didn't talk to John Smith this time.
Jennifer and her husband travel the country. They counsel, I think, like 1,200 couples on, on living vibrant marriages and lives, and they write books, and he's on TV quite a bit. Well, kid you not, when they called me to sell their home,
they weren't selling a farm, were they?
They were not selling a farm,
okay.
No.
just throwing that out there because it's you.
There was a lien on their property for child support after a divorce. The husband wasn't supporting Jennifer. Now, we knew immediately that this is not Jennifer and her husband, right?
Sure.
But the key is that when you look in advance and you work with your title company to ensure clear title, if there are liens that shouldn't be there, you have time to respond and remove them, rather than waiting until you get that buyer that comes along and wants to close in 30 days, and the title report is pulled, and the underwriter looks at it and says, oh my gosh, there are liens, we can't do this. There are transactions that fall out of escrow because of a lack of preparation in advance. So ensure clear title before you list. That way you know you're not going to have problems later, and you can close on time.
Yeah, that's probably something that I see a lot from for sale by owner people. Not. That's why we want professional guidance for you all the time.
Yep.
Okay, so purchase contract. People actually read the purchase contract?
Well, there are many people that say, just tell me where to sign. But imagine if you're sitting down and you've got double-digit offers and you've got a day to respond, right? And the agent sits down with you and goes through the offers. Wouldn't it be great if the agent explained how the offers work, the 17 days due diligence, when the deposit goes hard and non-refundable, so that the seller can then put a deposit down on a property and not risk losing it, or they've got recourse. If you explain all of that up front, then when it's crunch time, you're not like that student that's cramming for the college final where you're pulling an all-nighter. Offers are stressful, they are emotional, and you've got deadlines dictated by someone else that involve the biggest financial transactions of most people's lives. Why not know what that contract says up front? So then when you get it, you go, okay, here's the price, here's the terms, here's whether the refrigerator stays or not, here's who's got to pay for what, and here's when I move, right? And that's not an end-all list, but those are some of the biggies. If you can sort through that with clear vision, you're going to reduce stress.
It's kind of funny that you bring that up. It's a very fascinating to me that so few people read the whole contract.
Yeah.
So few real estate professionals even know what the contract is.
Don't get me started. I've had some. Right.
And I see Linda Eisenman's watching, a great real estate professional in North Orange County, that she and I chat about this all the time as well. I like the comment, it's a smart agent who checks title. And exactly, Linda, you're right.
Oh, thank you.
So the issue here is, I'm a big believer that there's probably only a half a dozen things that are of the utmost importance in that contract at the crunch time. Mm-hmm. But the entire contract is important as part of the education process.
Correct.
So if I understand that whole contract from ahead of time, then when you and I are sitting down to chat about the transaction itself, tell me the price, tell me the contingencies, tell me the, whatever the other, the escrow term, whatever the other 5 or 6 things are that are really changing through a contract. Yeah. Because 15 pages are about all the same.
Well, right. A lot of them are definitions. I mean, there's a section on what days means. If days starts with a capital D versus days is a lowercase d, and whether it means 11:59 p.m. or not. You may not get into that, granularity. But if I sit down with you, Ron, and I got an offer on your property, and I say, all right, well, paragraph 14b2 says 17 days, you're going to potentially gloss over. But if I say, do you remember when we talked about that magic date where the buyer signs their life away and their deposit becomes non-refundable? Well, this buyer's going to do it in 10 days. This one's 17. You understand that.
Exactly. It's all about the education process. Great real estate professionals are educators. That's their main job. They're marketers and they're educators. We're going to talk more about this with Brent Humpherys when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. Also want to chat with you a little bit. I get this question all the time. How does a line of credit work? We'll talk about that as well when we come back. Remember, you can reach us anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Most businesses struggle to get the online reviews they need to get a competitive edge over their competition. Rex is a brand new technology that uses text messages to direct happy clients to your online review sites, Zillow, Google, Facebook, and Yelp, and unhappy clients to a private survey, so businesses can win more customers. Try Rex today by going to www.meetrex.com. Are you currently renting a home? Do you like paying someone else's mortgage payment? Why not explore the options to purchase your own home? Can you imagine a 30-year fixed-rate loan below 4.25% APR? This means with $10,500, you can purchase a $295,000 home and have a principal and interest payment of about $1,400 per month. What are you paying in rent? Does your family deserve the opportunity to take advantage of the current market? To learn more about these exciting opportunities, the Siegel Lending Team is standing by to speak with you. Call now, 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Or 1-800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender. Not endorsed or sponsored by any government agency.
Do you have a goal of mortgage-free home ownership? What if your home was valued at $500,000? Are you aware that a free and clear home could be costing you $2,500 every month, $30,000 per year? The mortgage planners at the Siegel Lending Team would like to show you how you can own your home, generate tax-free income, and accumulate family wealth. You simply need to call the Ron Siegel Team at 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990. By sending the team a copy of your most recent mortgage statement, the team will send you a no-obligation real estate plan. You be the judge if this is right for your family. Again, all you have to do is send the team a copy of your mortgage statement by email to reap@ronsiegelradio.com or call today. Ron Siegel, 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990.
Rate subject to change and without notice. Licensed by the California DOC and BRENMLS 217037 and 145502 and Cal BRE 01869452 and 1866775.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Word on Wealth segment today is being brought to you by our friends at Gold Star Mortgage. Gold Star is the only one with the Fast Pass loan approval, the only one I know of anyway, with the Fast Pass loan approval. Get pre-approved, pre-underwritten for your loan. Now, we were talking last segment with Brent Humpherys about the purchase contract. Page 2, box J4 says there are no loan contingencies. Frequently, when there are no loan contingencies, one has the ability of making, it's a cash offer. Think about that concept. You get lumped in with the cash offers. No loan contingency makes your offer more favorable. More favorable offers sometimes go for get a lower price. Just a thought there. I throw that out there for your consideration. Gold Star has that program. How does a line of credit work? Because it's all the time. It's a very, very frequent question for me. Now, when we talk about a line of credit, are we talking about an unsecured line of credit, or are we talking about the home equity line of credit? So being that this is a real estate broadcast, let's chat about the home equity line of credit. I'll leave the other one for another day. Home equity line of credit, you're looking at generally they're going to want to have somewhere between 5 to 10% equity in the property. So you may have a first mortgage that let's just use some round numbers here. We've got a $500,000 house. You've got a $300,000 first mortgage. So you might be able to get a $150,000 line of credit. Do you have to use all of it? No. Now, if it's in a purchase money, maybe you are using all of it, but you can use it, not use it. You can pay it down. You can take it back. Most home equity line of credit, they have a 10-year draw period. What's that mean? You take money in and out for 10 years. At the end of 10 years, then you have to start paying it back. Now, you're paying interest on it all along. You're making payments on it all along. But if you haven't exhausted the line of credit, say you owe $10,000 on it, and your payment this month is $100, whatever. Just throwing that number out there. Could you borrow money from the line of credit to pay the interest? Well, sure you can if you've got availability, if you've got capacity. So that goes in. Now, after the 10-year draw period, then comes the repayment period. Most of them have a 20-year repayment period, so the loan is amortized over 20 years. Most of them are tied to prime rate. So you're going to pay a percentage above prime rate. Prime right now, 4.25%. You're going to pay a percentage in most instances above prime. There it goes back to the last segment. How is your credit? The better your credit score is, the less that margin is above the prime rate. Will this change? Does the loan amount change or the interest rate change? Well, yes, the margin doesn't. The margin's going to be what the margin is. But the prime rate, if the Federal Reserve increases the short-term rates twice this year or 3 times this year, you're going to probably see 2 or 3 increases to your line of credit. Amortizing over 20 years at the end. That can be a hardship. You have to plan for it. If you took out a line of credit 10 years ago, you may be facing that right now. Are there other options? Yes. You might be able to refinance that home equity line of credit to a new 10-year draw period. Maybe you refinance the entire project. All different options. But that is the basis of the line of credit. If you have more specific questions, call me 800-306-1990. Word on Wealth segment brought to you by our friends over at Gold Star Mortgage. We're chatting this morning with Brent Humpherys, and we are talking about the stress-free sale. Selling your home in a stress-free manner, or ideally a stress-free manner. Now, we started talking about this a little bit ago in the last segment, and we were talking about the real estate professional that is an educator. Generally, you're going to get a better educator from somebody that maybe has done it once or twice.
Been educated herself, yeah.
Maybe has a little bit of experience.
Experience is key.
Okay, so how do you know? How do you know if the agent is experienced?
Yeah. Well,
other than calling us at 800-306-1990, and we tell you who they are in your neighborhood.
Asking the agent simple questions. How many homes have you sold? What are your clients saying about you? Do you have references that I can look at?
They're all salespeople, so they're all going to tell me, well, my office, we've sold 3,000 homes.
In my office, there you go. My office. Okay, how many have you sold, right?
Okay.
And I'm not suggesting ego, right? Oh, I've sold 300 homes, so I must... But ask them questions. If it's a short sale, have you done short sales before? Do you have any transactions you can point to about working with the bank and knowing how to speak their language, right? Checking the online sites. You need an experienced agent to do well and to reduce stress. Think about it. An agent's experience in marketing will have everything to do with how many buyers come and look at your home. An agent's experience in negotiation will have everything to do with the amount of money you make at the home sale. And an agent's experience with not only the negotiation, but how to handle the appraisal, how to handle the requests for repairs, how to guide you, with all the documents and the timelines and what to do when buyers submit crazy requests, will have everything to do with your experience in the transaction, whether exacerbating stress or mitigating it.
And be aware that stress can be positive or negative. I mean, there's been people that you got 40 offers and I have to deal with all of them tomorrow.
It's a good stress.
That could be stressful,
especially
right?
If you're on vacation.
Right. I mean, but what I'm saying, it is both ways, right? So there's good stress and bad stress, and I like the idea of being prepared for stress.
Sure.
Right. And one of the things you're talking about is the preparation, because if you list a property today, likelihood is you're not going to have an offer today. Right?
Oh, really?
Sometimes you know where you're going with it, so you have an idea. But
sure.
For the most part, you're not going to. So you've got a little bit of time to go through, and you've got the education leading up to a transaction or to the listing,
right.
And then the education through the process.
Sure.
It's all part of that to try and minimize stress, because, hey, something, if I know exactly what that knee surgery is going to be like, and exactly what the recovery is going to be like, and exactly what the rehab is going to be like, it might not be quite as stressful.
Clear vision reduces stress. Yeah, we were talking at the break. Just think about the marketing, right? One of the reasons that people get stressed is that people aren't coming and seeing their home. And you and I were talking at the break about 2 oceanfront condos I've got, just yesterday and today, listing in North Coast Village and Oceanside. You can be on the sand in the $400,000 to $500,000 range. You think about that. Those are on 90 international portals, translated into foreign language, converted into foreign currency, getting, lead drip that's coming to my email. So people are seeing that around the world. If you've got a property that's just marketed right here, on Realtor.com or you name the site, that's good. But if you can expose it to people all over the world, last I checked, Southern California is a pretty desirable place to live.
Exactly. Absolutely.
And foreign buyers are here paying cash. So market to them.
And that's exactly, and it's all about the experienced agent. Details.
Don't be in dark about the details. Look, have you ever played those games as a kid, where you get blindfolded and you got to do different things or walk around and I
don't know what games you were playing, Brent. I'm not sure.
I just realized I could just picture this. Okay, I'm not thinking of anything in particular. But when you don't have clear vision, stress
I was always
goes
the
up.
Donkey. Somebody else was the one pinning the tail.
Okay, got it.
just saying.
There's a joke there, but I won't make it because this is live. But establish a clear plan with your agent, or have them help you establish a clear plan so you know exactly what to expect, when your property can be shown, and when you can, maybe leave the laundry out or leave your feet up on the couch, and that sounded weird. You can cook. You can do all kinds of things.
Well, your house is a museum when it's listed.
Correct.
Right?
But what if there are blockout periods? What if you say no showings from 6 to 8 every Wednesday? And that's when you and the family can just have your family movie night, make the popcorn, and not worry about someone being at the door. There are so many ways that you can reduce stress. But the other thing is that the number one complaint, about realtors, or I guess I should say agents, right?
Okay.
In the country, is failure to communicate and keep the client informed. So when I take a listing, I establish a game plan that I'm going to communicate with my client virtually every day. In fact, some of them many times a day. Or I'll say, I've set up this electronic monitoring on the lockbox. So I will know every single time someone's looked at your home, and I'll definitely know the agents that have returned, meaning that came back for a second look, which usually means they're getting ready, they're getting primed to make an offer. I'm going to follow up with every agent in one business day from looking at your home, and then I can present that feedback to you every Friday morning, every Wednesday afternoon, or in real time. So every time someone's seen your home, I'm going to go out and find out what that buyer and what the agent thought of your home, and I'm going to give you real-time feedback. That reduces all kinds of stress because you're not sitting there scratching your head saying, gosh, I wonder what people are saying. You're going to know.
And part of that has to do with the experienced agent, because I'm going to suggest that some people want that feedback and some people just don't care. Right? I mean,
some don't.
Right? To me, Brent, call me when you got an offer. Right? I mean, I don't need to know about if you get 75 people that walked in today, your job is to figure out if it makes sense or doesn't make sense or have this experience. That's why I hired you.
You hiring me to sell your home, right? Not to bring a bunch of people.
I'm busy. I'm doing a radio show. I'm leading a team. I've got a business. Right?
Yep.
But that all goes part of the communication, and that goes back up to number 5, who's picking an experienced agent who knows, hey, do you want me to call you, or do you want me to text you, or do you want me to email you, or how do you want to communicate?
Right. It's very important.
Those are all real important parts of the entire process, and I'm going to suggest that you don't get that all the time, and I'm going to also suggest that we're not going to get to number 7 because you're going to have to call Brent Humpherys to find that out.
Number 7's a good one.
And
text or call.
There you go. Set that first radio preset button to come back here every day to join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A very big thanks to John, who's engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We will talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.